to show you some basic knife skills. So I have my chef's knife, and we're going to cut up some onions and some potatoes for tonight's dinner. We're going to make a foil pack with those. We're going to do those on the barbecue. But I want to just show you a quick way to cut them up. Simple enough, one at a time. Just a little tricky right here. Careful. And that way you're not chasing them all over the place. And that's how we cut up the taters. And the onion, we're going to cut it like this. Straight down through the top. And we're just going to make little pieces out of this. See, I'm holding it. And I'm using my index finger to hold the onion in place. And the last little one is a tricky one, and you want to dig your fingernails into that little piece that you left, and you want to make sure you're going straight down, so you're using that as a guide, your finger, and not getting injured. Same thing with this one. One more time. And I'm not super fast at this. I can go faster sometime, but I'd rather just not cut myself. So there's that. We're gonna blast through these potatoes, and I have some Brussels sprouts, steak, mushrooms, some shrimp. We're just gonna do the shrimp for a later shrimp cocktail that we're gonna make probably tomorrow. We'll barbecue the shrimp tonight. Now I've got a foil pan for the taters. We're going to make a foil pack to put on the barbecue. So I got my taters and my onions, mix them all up. And there's no sense mixing those just right yet till after you put the oil on them. Use some coconut oil. Kind of a lot. We don't want them to burn. Now for some spices, garlic, and don't be shy. Kick it up, and you guessed it, real salt. Don't mess around with your salt. If it's got no flavor, throw it away. And some cayenne, of course. Thyme, almost identical to what we did to the zucchinis and the yellow squash. Hang on now, what's going on here? This also is good to do while you're barbecuing, because if you are not at someone else's house and you don't have to go anywhere, you don't have to drive while you're barbecuing. So this is a mango peach smoothie type of screwdriver, and all you have to do here is you dig those ice, let them float, and just plunge them back down. You don't really stir it. I'm going to give it a kind of a little bit of a flip flop while your Brussels sprouts are blanching and after you made your foil pack. Hang on now, wait. Wait, hands off. No, wait, let me have it. Wait, all right. We're going to spread them out kind of far, but we're going to keep in mind that if we spread them out too far, we won't be able to get the mesquite lit. So we want to have, a little bit of a connection. We want them to be, kind of touching each other. They actually burn out a little bit slower. And it's the real reason I keep the vents closed, because I burned off any kind of residue that's, going to be trapped in here by keeping the vents closed. But it will let the coals burn a little longer, and we can cook our food, and then we can re-attack it with the mesquite and then throw our meat on. This is really nothing for this grill right here. This thing can handle a whole entire bag of, medium-sized bag of charcoal, and it just cooks for hours. But this is just for our dinner. Well, that's our live video. We lost a light, so maybe it's actually adjusted. It's a self-adjusting light. That's it. That's what happened. All right, for the sake of timing, I threw the taters on and I put them off to the side a little bit because it's really super hot. And we're gonna let those cook a little bit. Then we'll throw the Brussels sprouts on because those are already boiled and they're a little soft. Won't take as long as the taters. Taters in the oven would take 45 minutes, but we're gonna do them on the barbecue probably 30 minutes. So we'll give them a 15-minute head start over the Brussels sprouts. We definitely want to check on these. And the thing is that you can't do this with gloves, so figure out a way to do it. Hopefully I didn't foil it too tight. Get in there. Look at that. Hope you can see that. Yeah, I guess you can. Alright, that's looking pretty good. Nothing's getting burnt. Yeah, throw in a small pan that we're going to do the mushrooms in. These things are loaded with cheese, so we don't want to cook them too fast. It'll just be a big melted cheese mess with some uncooked mushrooms. So we're going to put them up on the top rack the best we can. Okay, the mushrooms are in the pan now. We're going to just sneak them up here on the top rack and balance it so it doesn't fall off.
I think they do that.
And that's it. That's beautiful. All right, we're looking good. So we're gonna shut this slowly. And we hear some boiling going on over here, which is a good sign. We don't have to look in there. It's all boiling there. We know there's juices in there. It's not going to burn. And the mushrooms are tricky, and I'm a little concerned about those, but they're going to be good if they don't fall off of there. So let's just be gentle. Let it do its thing. I know it's a little bit weird, but besides firing up the stove and running back and forth in the house, out of the house, we're going to do it all on the barbecue. Yeah, like I said earlier, we're going to make some shrimp for tomorrow, basically. And we might as well do that now while we're kind of trying to time the Brussels to be just right. So we're going to throw these on, and we'll just stick those away, and we'll handle those tomorrow. We're going to make fresh cocktail sauce. Whoa, he's hot tonight. I don't even want to mess around with that one. That was almost touching the grill. Now see, I got a little lazy and I didn't put extra oil on the grill there. They're kind of sticking, but these are shell on, so they're going to be fine. The mushrooms are starting to cook. The cheese is starting to go everywhere, but it's looking good. It's for the most part in control. We're going to need to put the mesquite on because everything's burning out. So we want to make sure the coals are hot enough to still light our mesquite. So get your gloves on. Whoa. Hot. think there was a hole in that glove. All right, so putting on some little pieces. And shoot, tree stumps in here. Put on about 5 pieces and hope that they light. Oh, put on 6. Not sure. Oh, here's some small pieces on there. You can see that exactly. Hopefully we've got just enough coals to get those things going. Okay, it's a whole separate, it's like a second half of cooking. I might have to scrape some of those coals from there over to here to get those going. So let's work on that. Right now it's going to work even better. We have the cast iron pan out for the Brussels sprouts. There's just a little coconut oil in it, and we've got those boiled already, so we're going to let that get super hot. Those mesquite are going to come up really quick, and it looks like it's working out perfectly right now. Okay, throwing the Brussels sprouts in there. It's nice and hot. Let's just smooth them out a little bit. And we're just going to tend those because these are done. And there's no reason to really shut the barbecue. The coal's kicking up. So we're just going to enjoy being able to cook these nice and hot. And they're softened from being boiled for about 15 minutes or so. Now they'll really absorb any seasoning that we put on them. And we'll steer them around till they're getting, you know, brown and kind of crusty looking. And they'll be beautiful, even a little bit smoky. A little more garlic. A little more thyme. Gotta go quick because it's really hot. Like I was saying, that mesquite kicks off and it just goes crazy. But we're using these Brussels sprouts kind of like a heat sink, almost to show us how hot these coals are. Because we want them to be perfect when we put our steak on. Here's about the end of these. And we're going to take these off all together, and then we're going to switch the barbecue around to put it for the steak to go on. They're going to flame up still. We're going to let those get perfect. We want to make them about the size of the steak. The pile is about the same size as the steak, and that's how it comes out perfect. Alright, that's what I was talking about here. Coming to the end, so I'm going to put this bricks down, one on each side. And it's firing off and it's going crazy, but it's all just fine because that's going to calm down before we put our steak on. So put that over there. Alright, see that so far? Okay. Keep going. We got definite oven mitts on them. They're not just gloves. We got oven mitts. And I'm going to set it just right. I'm going to be able to kind of smush it down. Let it be about the same size as a steak, and that looks pretty good. We're going to let that calm down a little bit. Everything else is cooked up. Timing's going good. Every little last bit of fat that's stuck to the grill is burning off. And we still need to let it burn down a little bit because that's way too hot still. Probably 10 minutes and it's going to be perfect. The wood burns out much faster than the charcoal. Now you definitely want to pack that down, so make sure you smack it around a little bit. We're almost there. Okay, now we're at that perfect state that I talked about earlier. When I first started, that is the perfect steak cooker right there. Down really small, close to the coals. Now this is some grass-fed, aged beef from Bisher's Quality Meats in Ramona. And you do not want to burn this meat, but this mesquite is the only way to go. You gotta manage the heat just right. It's kind of unpredictable. It gets super hot and then it goes down quickly. So you can see we burn it on this side and it's cooking slow on this side. So we're working that.